never works quite as well as you want it to at the start, does it? To be fair, but there we go. Hopefully we are now live on YouTube, and we should hopefully be very shortly live on Facebook as well. And let's check Instagram. Sorry guys, hopefully it's the first time we've streamed to all three in one go. So fingers crossed it's all going well, but
Shortly, live
any problems you'll have to let us know.
We're on YouTube. I can give you that one, Kev.
That's good. Right, that's all right. Seems to be working, which is great. So, hello everyone. This is our Friday live stream that we do. Normally on YouTube only, but we've brought it out to Facebook as well. So hopefully it'll be of some use to you guys. I'm Kevin, and I'm with Howard and Matthew, and they're our local property experts in Preston and Lancaster and Morecambe, and they're here to basically answer your questions. So let's say if you've got anything that you want to ask them, feel free, and feel free to post that to them, and we'll get them answered sort of as much as we can. So let's just make sure that it is coming up everywhere that we want it to, and then we'll get cracking, guys. There you go. Didn't quite go to Facebook the first time, but there we go. We get there in the end. Teething problems, guys. Teething problems. That's what we like. All right, guys. So yeah, I think we're now live streaming to all three. So I say questions, guys. How's your areas doing? How's the housing market and basically the area actually? Preston, Lancaster, Morecambe. Howard, do you want to go first for us? Sort of.
Yeah, of
give
course,
the
then.
audience
Yeah,
an update?
I'm Howard. Yeah, I'm Howard. So I cover the Preston and South Liberal area of Lancaster and Estates, which is an area I've covered for a long time, and I've been brought up in this area. A bit about my area this last week is it's been very productive. There is always a demand for properties in the area. We just need a bit more supply. But I think this is, people haven't tuned in before. This is something that we've talked about and discussed for a while. Just to give you a bit of an insight to that, 3 houses last week they had on the market. One sold for the asking price, and this was between £300,000 and £400,000. So we're not talking all the cheapies. And the other 2 that I sold last week went for above the asking price. And I think it's down to the fact that there's not a great deal on the market. People wanting to get in the house, and also, of course, save on this stamp duty, which runs until the end of March last year. Just on our local area, I know some of you have probably seen it on Sky News, BBC News, and everything, and you roll your eyes into the roof of your head. But there was a press conference early on today to mention about Lancashire. Now, yesterday, it was the northeast of England to say that there's going to be a different curfew or lockdown. Now, apparently, as of today, they announced that from next Tuesday, the 22nd, why it's not today or tomorrow, I don't know, beggars belief, but there you go. But apparently, there's going to be announcement that 13 of our 14 boroughs of Lancashire, good quiz question that, how many boroughs are there in Lancashire? So 13 of our 14 boroughs are going to be subject to fresh rules. This is, again, like I said, next Tuesday. And they're including my areas, Preston, South Ribble, the Lancaster, Morecambe area, all of these areas where they probably have a curfew like they've going to have in the northeast, where pubs shut at 10 o'clock at night, you've got to get out. I mean, I don't know about you, there's not many people in my pubs at that time at night anyway. But one little thing I note about that, one strange area that's missing is Blackpool isn't included. Now, I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the lights, the illuminations, I don't know. So if you've got any idea why it's not in there, message us, send us a note on it. Will it have any effect on this property market? Well, I don't know. What's everyone's thoughts on it? People are watching. Give us your thoughts. I don't know what you think, guys. We're in the same area. What do you think?
I think it'd be interesting to see what the government say about things like viewings, for instance, because the restriction, of course, is on households, isn't it, that you can't go in?
Yeah.
So I wonder how that is going to affect going into somebody else's house. You know, it's complete random, and that's to be seen.
Exactly.
I did have a look earlier, but I couldn't see anything that they changed the guidance at all yet. But
no, you are right, Kane. One of the things that I was reading early on, it says that it's restricting people from socialising with other households. Now, obviously, if you, Matt, if we're doing a viewing, showing 2 people, 3 people around the house, obviously it's not our house, it's not from the same household. Obviously, with ourselves, we take obviously the necessary requirements and cover our faces, distance, so forth. Make sure, especially on empty property, all the doors are open and so forth. But I don't know if it's going to have any effect. I do get asked, in all honesty, for me in Preston, every viewing I go to, more or less, is there any special requirements? So I don't know. It depends on how everyone perceives it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, we'll have to just monitor it. What we will certainly let everyone know that we can when the restrictions change, as we'll follow government guidelines. But one thing that we are doing, I will mention there, is it shows you how important virtual viewings are, aren't they? You know, if you can get a virtual viewing, a 360 tour that we do, you know, they're great because you can still look even if they do lock them down. But cheers for letting us know that, Howard. Anything else going on in Preston at the moment? How's life up there in general? Well, how's housing?
Housing's doing all right. For my area, really. I mean, early on in the year, there was honestly, there was people in the village halls and everything going and talking about it. There was little pockets of land, farmland, really, that it came to light that people had been applying for planning permission on it. It wasn't even their land. So people were applying for planning permission, or at least touting the idea to see if there's a potential they could get it, and going and speaking to the farmers to try and buy the land off them, by obviously showing them, if I can build houses on your land, it's worth X amount of pounds. I don't want to be greedy and take it all. For that, I'll give you a bigger kind of shift for the land. Now, we're in Much Hill, Little Hull, there's an area off Knoll Lane, by the roundabout, which is off the A59. Now, there's been quite a bit of movement over there the last 7 days, 10 days, with tractors going in. There's been earth taken back. Now, you access this from Knoll Lane, but also you access that field from Oldfield and Long Meadow, which is as you go into Much Hill, which is PR4. Now, I had a look myself early on today just to see what actually was happening. Now, apparently, Applethwaite Homes, who've built the homes opposite Hutton Grammar, and they are very, very nice homes, they've built that. Now, they've applied to try and get access in off Knoll Lane, which, to be fair, it's a tiny little road, and there have been a lot of objections to it. So that's just a little bit that I found. If there's anyone out there that knows a little bit more than me, some local residents watching this now might be thinking they're against it or they're for it, message me, message us. Let's have a chat about it. I'll try and find out some more information. If I do, I'll let you know this time next week. So it's happening all over, Kev. All happening.
Yeah, it is. New build's a big thing, isn't it? And the government are always under pressure to build a lot.
They're pushing it though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're pushing it, especially with this lockdown we've had. We're finding that planning permission now seems to be getting through a lot easier. You know, even if you're building a short extension at the back of your home, you don't necessarily have to go and get planning permission. So it's they've elapsed everything. So I do think there'll be a massive uptake of these new builds. You know, questions I'll ask people out there and answer this is for example, in villages, is there sufficient schools there? Is the schools big enough to take new houses for children going in there? I don't know. You tell me what you think.
Yeah, well, I know in Preston, obviously, there's been loads of new build go up. You know, and the same with Lancaster. You know, Matt will vouch for that. I mean, down on the by Lancaster Canal on the quay down there, how many units is there, Matt? Is it like 1,000 units?
It's a lot. There's an awful lot. I mean, you've got 4 builders down there, and obviously the student accommodation is getting built down there as well.
Yes, you're right. It's one thing that you'd never really think of as a school capacity, because they're all big family homes, aren't they? Those, but yeah, it's interesting to have to try and find out a bit more about that land. So hopefully somebody will be able to help you out with that at some point, Howard. On there. So cheers, pal. And Matt, what's it like for you down there in Lancaster and Morecambe? It's all good as well.
Yeah. So as Howard rightly pointed out, he covers that area. Obviously, guys, I cover anywhere from Lancaster, Morecambe, the surrounding villages and so forth. The market so far since lockdown restrictions has been absolutely great. It's been a little bit quieter this week. I don't know whether that was rightly so from us having that chat before of people knowing something like this lockdown was going to happen. However, looking at my diary next week, I've got loads of appointments in. So it's a mixed bag at the moment, but overall market's really good. As you rightly said, there's plenty of building going on still. There's obviously a shortage of houses, so as Howard's rightly said, I think planning's got a bit relaxed and people are trying to fire up as many houses as they can. The amount of people who ask me, do I know where any land is? They ask me so many times, where any land is? Do you know where this is? That's not my dog, by the way. I've got a smaller dog than that, if you can hear that, guys. But the amount of land going up and everywhere, the amount of times I get asked about land is extraordinary, and I can't find any. So if any farmers are watching this, or anybody who has got a little bit of land, please give me a ring, because I'm sure I've got some suitors for the demands. But overall, really positive still seeing an influx of different kind of buyers. My concern was with the local restrictions that we'd only see people maybe who are cash or who've got money to go, but I'm still getting a lot of first-time buyers coming through the door who, rightly so, Howard said previously, are spending quite a bit of money on the property as well. We'd only see people maybe upwards of 300,000 or who've got without money going into too much detail. We've just sold a few properties that are over the 500,000 mark, and I kid you not, they've taken us a matter of 3 to 4 days to sell. So it shows how vibrant and kind of lucrative the market is at the moment.
Yeah, good, and I'm sure there's lots of things going on in Lancaster and Morecambe at the moment. I think we were talking about Eden, I think. Wondering how that was getting on.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've done a good bit of research on the Eden, because, of course, for me, being a Morecambe lad, born and bred, the Eden for me is massive, because I want to see the days of Morecambe coming back that my grandparents openly told me about back in the golden era, and I think the Eden's going to bring that. So, of course, the main concern was, and the amount of people who, when I've gone and valued the house in Morecambe, have stopped and asked me, do you know anything about the Eden, what's going on? And doing my obvious research, Lancaster and Lancashire Council have given £250,000 towards the planning and obviously the finance side, and the government have also pledged already 100,000 to move forward with the project. Now, this is all available on the Lancaster Guardian. You can read it. Obviously, you can go on the website. It's amazing how many of us don't read the local news anymore. But it's all there for you guys, and obviously David Morris is pushing it as much as he can, and he also is a big believer in our local MP that this will change things not only for Morecambe but genuinely the north. I honestly don't think it will just affect Morecambe. I think it will surround the local area massively. I think it will boost Lancaster, Morecambe, Heysham, Hesbank, Barnley Sands, the whole lot. The question is, will it make property value go up? I wouldn't be able to tell you at the moment, because it's not due to 2023, so we'll see you then.
But a lot to happen in between then and now, isn't there?
Exactly. First of all, we've got to obviously beat this lockdown and the virus, of course. But I'll be honest with you, I have seen an influx of buyers coming for property in Morecambe from out the area, and after speaking to a few other people as well, in the surrounding areas like the lakes and everything, the whole northwest, not just our local area, is absolutely booming at the moment. I always think it's good not just to think about where you live, but also surrounding area as well. And I think with the Eden coming, you'd like to think that other things will come to Morecambe as well. For example, we all dread it when we drive past it, but the old Frontierland site. I was a very young lad when it was Frontierland, and I think I remember going on the log flume once, and that was it. That's about it. However, that site has now been like that since I was 5 or something like that, which was quite a long time ago. So you'd like to think with the Eden, obviously, if again you read the local news, the council have also said to Morrison's that they have to do something with that land soon. You'd like to think that would get a nice retail space there, with shops that are going to bring business, a quirky. You might get some branded shops and a couple of local shops, and that'll boost the economy in Morecambe. You'll get people actually wanting to come and shop in the area, because at the moment there's too many shut down shops, and I think the Eden will obviously help with that. And it's just good to know that the government are still wanting to proceed with it. Yeah,
it is, and it'll be very good for the area. I think it'll reach out further than Lancaster and Morecambe as well. I think it'll be good. And you're right, Morecambe was a hive of activity going back 50 years.
Yeah.
You know, so it'd be good for the area, most definitely. Because when the sun is out like this, it's a lovely spot looking out over the bay, isn't it?
I think also as well, I think this whole pandemic, in all due respect, has made people realise that there are beautiful places in the UK. And for me, Morecambe, I'm going to say this because I'm a Morecambe lad, Morecambe is a hidden gem. You know, it's got gorgeous beaches, and I've been to many places on holiday. I've lived abroad, and I still say the bay has the best view that I've ever seen in my life. It'll need to be something special to beat that, and I think with the whole pandemic that people are realising, you know, you get holidaymakers coming here, you get the Eden here. Think about the economy, the boost to the economy, the money that we're getting spent in Morecambe. I might have just shot myself in the foot there, because I'll be getting people ringing me now saying I'm going to sell in 2023 now instead.
Yeah, true. Cheers for that, Matt. It's good to have a bit of an update on that and just seeing where it's at. I'm going to go on to some figures and to show you how the housing market's doing at the moment for it. But just a quick question, and I'll elaborate on this more a bit next week. Is obviously I can see the sunshine outside there, Matt, and I can look out and it's great and it's still quite warm. But we're coming into autumn, and one of the things we always discuss is pictures on properties. So I want you to have a think about for next week, because I want to know if it's better to keep the summer photos or have seasonal ones. Do we change them for autumnal pictures, leaves falling, or do we keep them? Little project for you for next week. I'd be interested to find out what you both think.
You don't want the answers now, then?
No, don't worry about it now. I'm just conscious of time, because we've been on a little while. I don't want to keep people on there. So I'm just going to share a document with data that's come from Rightmove, just to show how the markets are in the area at the moment. So hopefully you guys can see that, and I'm hoping that'll then pass on to the general public. So this is properties that have come to the market year on year in the areas that we work in. So as you can see, September 2019 and 2020, and this is new properties to the market, sold properties in both LA and PR, just to see where the market's at the moment. So as you can see, new to the market in LA postcode was 265 in 2019, and we're 193 at the moment. So we're 3/4 of the way there, with just over half the month gone. So looking pretty good. I think the market's strong there. Houses coming to the market.
Who's that dog? Is that the dog again, Matthew? There.
I ain't got a dog with me this time.
And then sold properties in the LA postcode, that's 176 in 2019 September, 153 in 2020. So it's almost the same year on year already, with 10 days to go.
I tell you what, it makes good for reading, that, doesn't it?
Unbelievable. Look, here you go, Howard, Preston. The PR postcodes there. New to the market, September 2019, 297, 163 so far in 2020. So we're, just over halfway. So maybe, fingers crossed, it'll end up like, same month on month. But look at the sold properties.
I know, that's unbelievable. So that 2020, that's for the entire month, isn't it?
The 2019, the 151 is for the entire of 2019 September. 153 is up to yesterday, actually. It's not including today. So actually, 17 days this is. So just over halfway, and it's already more properties have sold in those postcodes than they had this time last year.
Yeah. Well, that just backs up what we've been saying all the time. The demand's there, and just need more supply. Yeah.
Well, it's the same as anything, isn't it? Yeah. Demand is definitely there. And that has achieved. I think you mentioned earlier about you'd sold a couple of houses that had gone over asking price. So there's definitely potential for that. It doesn't happen everywhere, does it? But there's definitely potential for that. So you gave with anyone, drop us a comment, give us a call, send us a message, whatever you want to do. Speak to these two guys, and they'll tell you how we can perhaps achieve that for your property as well. So it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just saying as well. I'm sure Matt will say. I'll say the same to Matthew as well. Is if there's anyone out there, obviously we're on a different format today. We have said this before, but if you're out there, if you're on the market with someone else and you're not selling, and you're wondering why, we're not trying to nick the business. But if you want some help, some advice, some pointers, messages, messages. Just give us your address. I'll look at it on Rightmove. So, well, Matthew, we'll see if there's anything obvious that's out there that maybe you could change and hopefully help yourself. So yeah, feel free to do that. And it's a free service, free advice, and hopefully help you get moving.
Okay, excellent. So thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure as always on a Friday afternoon.
As always.
Hopefully this is beneficial.
I just wish I was sat outside like Matthew. I mean,
yeah,
I know he's been working hard all week. But enjoy the summer we can. This week's come out of nowhere, hasn't it? It's been fantastic. Fantastic week.
It's been lovely, yeah. Lovely week, and say not long may it last. Probably until Monday, then it'll start raining again. But yeah, cheers guys. We'll be back again next Friday, and same time, 4 o'clock. If you've got any questions you want answering, please send them in, and we'll do our best to get them sorted for you. But for now, we'll see you later.